Hey, what's going on, guys? Got another knife video for today. This is my second time filming this video, but let's just go into it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the difference between the Ganzo G-Lock and the Benchmade Access Lock. Now, before I jump into this, I'm not going to talk about patents or anything, so if that's what you're looking for, I'd go try to find it elsewhere. Basically, we have two different locks here that function pretty much the same. Now, these are two very different price points of knives. I know that. This is the Ganzo G717 and the Benchmade 940-2. In my opinion, these are both probably the best, if not one of the best, access locks, access lock or G-Lock from the company. And so the G-Lock, it has lots of different names that I've heard. I've heard it called just an access lock. They're just going with it, calling it an access lock, because that's almost what it is. It's very similar. Then I heard people say G-Lock, which is what the official website calls it in the specifications, Ganzo's website. But I've also heard it called a piston lock and different things like that. So the first point that I'm going to address is simply which is easier to operate. Here I have the 940 by Benchmade. And so if you look here, you can see the access lock does stick out. See this way as well. There you go. Okay, so you can see it does stick out both ways. Now, with the Ganzo, that is not something that you can see. Of course, you can see it a little bit here, but the G10 around it is very high. So you cannot get to it as easily. It does not stick out. So you have to use a 2-finger grip to close it. It's very difficult to use a 1-finger grip on this thing. You have to really shove your finger in and pull down hard. It doesn't work well. So 2-finger grip is pretty much the way to go with this guy. Now, of course, with an access lock, some people do use 2 fingers. Just, I don't know why. If they have maybe a really stiff access lock. But in this case, you just pull it down 1 finger. It's easy. Not as bad. Okay, so definitely, so far, I'd give it to the access lock, but the next point about this is that, has like a smoother draw. So of course, I'm calling this little part a draw. It's really just where you pull this back, where you pull the actual pin back. Now this is crucial to the access lock. What this pin does is basically lock into a little notch in the blade. You can see it go forward. There you go. So it locks into a little pin in the blade, same with the G-Lock. It moves forward. You can see this little hole, it's the same on both of them. That little notch right there in the blade. Right in front of my finger. Simply comes, that lines up with this pin, not the stop pin, the access lock, and locks in place. So, the same way with the access lock and the G-Lock. So, on this case, there's a little spring that keeps it in its place. Now, I'm not going to deassemble these today, but if you want to see that somewhere, I'm sure there's other channels that assemble these separately. I haven't seen a comparison of these yet, but there might be one out there. I might have just missed it. So, when you pull them back, which is very crucial to the access lock, you can do it to open it. You can also do it to close it. Same with the G-Lock. It's so much lighter and easier to pull. The spring has less tension. Of course, it always goes back. Same with this guy. Now, of course, I have to use 2 fingers. See? Still always goes back, but it's very tight. And that's why you can't really operate it. That and the G10 being taller around it. That's why you can't operate it with 1 finger on the G-Lock like you can with the access lock. Next thing, let's see. Next is just overall smoothness of the knife, which does make a big difference in the access lock. Now, whenever I pull back the access lock, easily closes. With this guy, this is actually a surprisingly smooth knife. It will close. It will just free flow and close very easily. Not as easy, not as much of a drop shut. Let's see if we can get this right again. As that guy. But still a very smooth knife. So both of them do have smooth axis locks in the action. So next thing that I want to talk about, let's just do pricing. Pricing is a big point, and that's why a lot of people like one over the other. Well, that's why some people think that the G-Lock is an okay thing. Let's just talk about pricing. So this is a $20 knife. On average, maybe $23, but on average, $20. This guy is, on average, a $200 knife. Maybe a little less, depends where you get it. So that's a big difference in price. Now, of course, you're paying for a lot of materials in the price, and different machining that, of course, makes certain things better. For instance, weight. It's really night and day here. This guy's very light, this guy's very heavy. So let's take that into consideration. This is a pretty expensive knife as far as they go, and this is a fairly cheap knife. So there's that. You're not paying for as much. Now, overall, this G-Lock, it's a good lock. I do like it. It's, not too hard to operate. I can take it out of my pocket, cut what I need to cut, and flick it, put it back in my pocket. Now, is it as enjoyable as this knife? No. Does it perform as well as this knife? No. I can simply pull it back. It's much easier. No wrist needed at all in rotating this thing. Ready? Open. No, that was my bad. And that's a big thing. You can't pull axis lock back. But they're bad. It bounced. You know what I mean. You've seen it before. There you go. Okay. So that's a big thing. It's just ease of use. You don't need wrist for this thing. For deployment, you don't on this guy either. But for retraction, it's kind of hard like that. Okay. So now let's talk about sounds. That's a big thing with people. They love the axis lock sound. Just detent sounds, shooting it out. There's a lot of different sounds. But especially with the axis lock. Let's listen to its deployment where the axis lock clicks into place. Okay. I'll do it one more time. A pretty solid sound. Now I'll try the G-Lock. Do it one more time. Okay, so those are decent sounds. I think the G-Lock has a deeper sound than the axis lock for the original deployment. And, I think I actually like the G-Lock's original deployment sound better. And one big thing that I give to that is this is a very thick, heavy knife blade. So that can cause a lot more force when you deploy it, as opposed to a very light blade like this guy. Here, let me give you a size comparison. Neither of these are small knife blades, but that's what we're working with here. Okay, and also handles. This is just a very heavy knife, a very thick, beefy, very thick, no milled outliners on the G-Lock knife, or the Ganzo with the G-Lock, and this guy, a very minimal liner, so you can see some steel liners that go halfway. Very minimal on this guy. Alright, now let's talk about the retracting sound. Let's do it first with, I guess let's use the G-Lock's retracting sound. Alright, now I'm going to simply hold it here and push it down. Of course, there is a little detent since you can see the axis lock's in the middle. I'll push it down, ready? One more time. Alright, now let's use this guy once again. Alright, now let's do one more test. Let's see if this will work well. And then last with this guy. Oh, that was my bad. Okay. So, in my personal opinion, of course, I'd love to hear in the comments what you guys think. In my personal opinion, for the detent sound for the retraction, I like the axis locks much more. I think that is a more satisfying sound than this. It's louder, it's clickier. They both have that double click, but I definitely would give it to this guy. I mean, of course, in detent, they're both really good. I'm not going to shake them because they'll fall out of frame. But neither of the knife blades will come out. They're both very good detent-wise. This guy, you can hear a little bit of a rattle, but okay, I did it. You can hear a little bit of a rattle, but of course none with the 940. And still, the knife blades are staying in; they're not coming out. So I've talked about pretty much every point I want to talk about here. I would love to hear what you guys would think in the comments. I just overall, logging-wise, I like the Axis lock better. On the other hand, you pay for that. The cheapest Ganzo Axis lock or G-lock knife that I've seen is around $20. Maybe you can find one for $15, but around $20. And then with the Benchmade, pretty much the cheapest, like maybe Greptilians, they're around $100. So yeah, take that. Take that into consideration. Price range, they're pretty far apart, but they're very similar locks. Now, I do like both of these companies. I did state that. I do order from both of these companies, but I am maybe a little biased just because this one's more expensive. I think it has more quality, but I am positive that if you handed me these knives and I was blindfolded, there are no logos, nothing like that. Just by playing with this knife's action, I could easily tell which one was the Benchmade. It's just the main thing that a one-hand deployment is so easy. And now, real quick, my last thing I want to talk about is on the Ganzo. Is that a lot of people will mod these knives. They'll mod these knives by loosening the spring to make it easier to retract, so you can do it with one finger. It's really hard to do now. I'm using two, but it's really hard to do with one, but it is possible. And I'll also see people mill down the G10 around here, so there's more sticking out, so you can grab it easier. Now, even with both of those mods, and now I have a felt knife with that, this is my opinion, that even with both those mods, this knife's action does not top this one's in the Axis lock. It just doesn't. In my opinion, you can't make an Axis lock. You can't make a G-lock into an Axis lock. That's my opinion. Now, of course, Ganzo might come out with more enhanced Axis locks or G-locks and make them more like Axis locks. And Benchmade might upgrade their Axis locks sometime. This is strictly when I'm filming this. This is my opinion on them. The knives, I did state in the beginning, this is probably, I think, the best example from Ganzo and one of the best examples from Benchmade. So these are these knives. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't seen any of these videos and you appreciate it, please leave a like or share this with other people who are interested in this. Have you heard about this on forums and wanted to share a video? Please feel free to share this. It would really help me out. Also, make sure to subscribe. We're really close to 200 subscribers, so that'd be great if you guys would do that. And I'll see you guys in my next video.